Hello everyone, my name is Andrea and today we're going to talk about the astrology of August. As I already spoke about in the previous video, the astrology of July, we are going through a lot of transits at the moment. So August is bringing a lot of potential for change and it's also bringing some challenges. So August starts with Mercury still being retrograde in Leo. And it's going to be in retrograde until August 11th. And it's been in retrograde for the most of July. So although it went retrograde in Leo, it didn't make any significant aspects to other planets. So with Mercury going retrograde in Leo, the themes are around our individuality, around our expression, our self-expression, our talents, our gifts, what we bring to the world, how we shine in the world, our creativity. And with Mercury being there, we are kind of going through it and realizing what are the mental patterns that we have around these things that are stopping us from fully expressing our gifts, fully expressing our light. And because if you want to know more about it, it's more, I talked about it more in the previous video, but this whole year, the next year and coming years is really pushing us to come to our core of who we really are and to express ourselves from that place so that the world that we are building, the reality we are creating collectively, individually, and how those two are always interconnected, so that that can be built from the highest expression, from the highest quality, highest integrity. So everything that's false or everything that we've been building our identity around that is not who we actually are, this year and the years ahead, that's gonna be really hard to carry on through. So this Mercury retrograde in Leo is another invitation for us to go there. Another invitation for us to be, because Leo rules the heart, so it's from our heart that we express our true self. And the shadow side of Leo is that it can take up too much space because it wants admiration from the outside, it wants the approval of others. But when Leo expresses from the center, it just shines the light, and then others are affected by that light. Others are inspired by that light. So Mercury going retrograde in Leo is about us understanding better what are these mental blockages that are stopping us from doing that? What are the narratives inside that are making us say things just to get the attention, say things just to get the approval, but they're not coming from our core? Or what are the narratives that are stopping us from saying maybe anything? and we are not allowing ourselves to be who we really are. So because Mercury didn't make any significant aspects to any other planets as it was going retrograde, this process of inner investigation didn't have a chance to kind of land or get more, we maybe didn't have a full clarity around it yet. We were just kind of feeling maybe a bit off, or maybe more like introverted focused on the inside about our self-expression, but we still didn't come to kind of resolution about it. So when Mercury stations direct on August 11th, it's making an aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. It's opposing it. So this is kind of like a point where we get the chance to feel more into it. And because it's aspecting Pluto, and Pluto is all about transformation, we may see how Pluto is in Aquarius. It's about transformation. It's about power struggles. And Aquarius is about the society. And so we may see this tension of us understanding how we are conditioned by the society, and maybe we feel that we will be ostracized from certain groups if we express ourselves, which is Leo. So there might be this tension, and it might become more clear, but this is also then a chance to transform something about the way how we express ourselves, because we are no longer willing to play those power struggles. We no longer need the approval. It's only when we need the approval of the outside, of the society, then we feel we are trapped. But once we can release that, then we can feel free to express ourselves, and we can have a higher understanding of things, which is that once we express ourselves, those who are for us will come to us, and this will be our community. We don't need to try to fit our truth into existing paradigm, and we don't need to try to fit our truth into existing groups. So this is kind of like where we're getting more clarity around that. And then Mercury goes for post-retrograde shadow for 3 weeks after. So this is when kind of that understanding will also unravel. And well, while we're at it, while we're at Mercury, I can also now talk about Mercury as it's going in this post-retrograde shadow through Leo. Mars at the same time will be going through Libra, and they will be forming a sextile for a week, which is a longer period that they form this kind of aspect to each other, and it's a positive aspect. So it's like kind of like bringing harmony. And I'll go back to more about Mars in Libra, but I just want to touch on this of the two of them making this aspect, because we have a chance of finding ways that we express our truth, that we communicate it, internally with ourselves, with our mental monologue, and also to express it through our action, which is Mars. Mars is our action and how we assert ourselves in the world. So Mars is in Libra, so even though we want to express ourselves fully, we still need to have this consideration about the others. And Mars in Libra, Mars doesn't feel the most comfortable in Libra, because Mars just wants to do what it wants to do. And Libra still cares about the others. But the shadow side of Libra is when she cares too much about others and doesn't express her own truth. So there needs to be this fine line of how can we stay kind, how can we expand our capacity to include others and to have consideration for others as we speak our truth, and as we also set our boundaries and respect the other person's story, the other person's perspective, the other person's whole being, but still we still come back to ourselves and say, okay, I respect you, but this is what I feel, and this is how I feel about something. And how do we keep these two things at the same time? Because the whole astrology is kind of inviting us more and more into that, and this aspect for a week from 12th to 20th of August is offering this opportunity to do that with more ease, to kind of balance these two energies with more ease. Now let's go back to Mars in Libra. So Mars is entering Libra on August 6th. And there is this very interesting period then from August 8th. Well, probably already you will feel it from the moment it enters Libra on the 6th to about August 12th, where Mars is aspecting this main happening in the sky, which is the little triangle between Saturn and Neptune conjunction at the beginning of Aries, and the sextile it's forming with Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus at the beginning of Gemini, and then also Uranus and Pluto are forming a trine between each other. So they're all together forming this triangle, and this triangle is kind of like pushing us into our evolution. So once Mars enters Libra, there's a lot of activation with this triangle, because this triangle is an outer planet triangle. So we are feeling it collectively, and we're also feeling it very personally as well. But it's pushing us. It's there. It's gonna be there for quite some time, for a few years. But Mars is a more personal planet. Well, it's a personal planet. So when it gets activated with a personal planet, we all feel it more personally. So the moment Mars enters Libra, it's gonna make an opposition to Saturn and Neptune at the beginning of Aries. So there's again this tension between Aries and what I want to do and who I want to be, what do I want to do moving forward. And also Mars rules Aries. So there's this tension between, okay, what do I want to do? And having this consideration for others. And at the same time, it's creating this grand air trine with Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini. So we have a lot of air energy for like almost a week when this trine is formed. And we already have a lot of air energy. We have a lot of air and fire. And so the energy is very fast. And when Mars gets there, it's also creating even more of this air energy, which is about, again, mental constructs. It's about connecting with others. It's about socializing. It's about creating networks in a new way, because it's aspecting Pluto in Aquarius. So it's bringing this transformation to the society, to the societal groups, to the way we are functioning, to the way that the power structures are crumbling down, and to become more horizontal. And also it's aspecting Uranus in Gemini, which is about revolution of the technology, of the way we communicate. It's about opening our psychic gifts. And then we have Libra as the third air sign, which is about communication. And all three signs are about communication and about how we communicate with the outside world. And so they're always connected also to our inner mind, but also then how we express that inner mind outside. So as we are in general stepping into an era where air is more present, our mental hygiene is extremely important. So our thought patterns and how we think and how we keep our mental state, like how we take care of it, that's actually, we are starting to become more aware of how much that is impacting our everyday life. Not just our everyday life, but our reality and everything that's possible, what we think is possible. And this is a period where what we think is possible is simply expanding exponentially. It's just like quantum leaping into what we thought so far was possible for us in this lifetime, for us in this world, for us as humanity, and where we are going and what is actually possible. And this is just going to keep evolving and evolving and evolving. And what it requires from us is that we are willing to look at the ways we are thinking about ourselves and our immediate life and the world at large, and to understand that what we are seeing and experiencing is not all there is. So we need to be also willing to loosen up these mental constructs so that new reality that is emerging can, that we kind of train our eyes to see more of these possibilities and more of these new realities that are emerging in our awareness. So with this grand trine, with Mars being present, we can either and also it's opposing Neptune and Saturn. So we have this opportunity to see our mental patterns and how we can break them and how we can create a momentum for where we are going and what we want to create. But also because Mars can be very reactive. It's associated, it rules our aggression, it rules our boundaries, our anger. And especially opposition is kind of like this tension. There's a lot of tension in the opposition. So it's opposing Saturn, which is retrograde in Aries. Also Neptune is retrograde. So Saturn is about our limitations, our also our discipline and our integrity. So as Saturn is now retrograde, we are looking more inwards to see where our own structures are suffocating us and how can we loosen them and how can we create better structures so that where we are going, it's supporting this newer version of ourselves and the world. So we are becoming more aware of our inner limitations. And also Neptune is there to dissolve these limitations. It's there to present us with new possibilities and make us see that what we thought was real is not so real. And so Mars can either get activated in a way that it's reactive, like we see our limitations, we see our old beliefs, and it's making us reactive because we would like to be over that, or maybe it's we are reactive because we just see them more clearly. Sometimes we need to repeat certain mistakes. We need to go through things over and over again until it becomes very clear that this is what we are doing and this is what needs to change. So Mars can also get reactive in that way. And so this is our opportunity to see those things, to see our limitations, to see our thought patterns that are stopping us. And because it's forming a trine, and a trine is a harmonious aspect, so it's with harmonious aspects, we need to engage with them, because when the energy is flowing harmoniously, we can sometimes overlook it because it comes easy. But if we engage with it, we can actually get a lot from it. So this is a great opportunity to bring revolution and freedom to our brain, to our mental patterns, and also transformation, because Pluto is also there. So like there can be this sense of moving forward and us understanding better what needs to change in our inner world so that we can make the outside change accordingly, and to have more clarity on what are the actions that we need to take on the outside world as well. So in the middle of that, there's a full moon happening on the August 9th, full moon in Aquarius. And the full moon, actually the sun in Leo and the moon in Aquarius, they are not making so many aspects, but they are amplifying what is happening at that time. So, and there's a lot happening, so it will be kind of like this intense moon. And also it's again highlighting our individual purpose, our individual role in the collective, in the higher scheme of things. So it's bringing us more clarity which groups we want to participate in, where do we want to join, where do we maybe want to take our energy out of, and really come back to our own gifts and see ways in which we contribute. So it's not that we are just consuming from these groups, and also social media, it's not just us taking and constantly consuming stuff. It's about what we are creating this whole year, and especially next year with this powerful conjunction of Saturn and Neptune happening at 0 degrees of Aries. Is all about creation. It's about personal creation, and therefore taking full personal responsibility for what we bring in the world, so that we become more aware how each contribution to the world is making a huge impact, especially now. No contribution is too small. So then we have also this beautiful conjunction happening on August 12th between Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. So Jupiter is already in Cancer, and we have this opportunity for growth in areas of emotional stability, in areas of home, of connecting to ancestors, to roots. And when Venus joins with Jupiter, it's always this beautiful new cycle that starts. So it's also kind of like this potential to start something with their new cycle, and something that has beauty in it, something that has care in it, something that we wish to contribute to the world in a way that we can show how deeply we care for whatever it is we care for, what it is that we want to preserve, what it is that we want to just take care of something. Maybe it's a plant, maybe it's a pet, maybe it's another person, maybe it's a project, but we can bring a lot of care and nurturing into this, what we wish to bring into the world. And then on August 22nd, Sun enters Virgo, which is bringing us some grounding. We also have a South Node going through Virgo, and also then the next day we have a new moon on August 23rd. We have a new moon in Virgo, which is a really good moment to to plant some seeds and to ground a bit, because there's a lot of this energy that's very mental, very out there. And one more thing I want to say about this air energy is that it's about our attention. So we are at the same time becoming aware how much our attention is precious, and there's so much happening that is grabbing our attention, because our attention is so precious, because we are building through our attention and intention, but attention especially, to create something we need to put our attention in it. And so our attention can be so easily dispersed and be all over the place because we lack earth, because there's no anchoring. So whenever we can anchor more intentionally, to come back to ourselves, to come back to our bodies, to slow down because the energy is moving so fast, we can always find time to come back to ourselves, because we need to come back and we need to center in order for whatever it is that we are creating. It needs to come from a centered place. It cannot come from a scattered place. So this new moon in Virgo is also very powerful, and it's also electrified because it's again forming aspects to these outer planets. So it's forming a yod with Pluto in Aquarius and Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and it's also squaring Uranus. So there's a lot of charge to the new moon, and there's also possibility again because Uranus is aspected, so there's a possibility for a breakthrough, something new to emerge. Like there's constantly this energy of revolution, of new ways, of bringing something new into the form, of changing the old ways. So the more that we can, in general, change all ways that we know of doing things, and the more we can release our personal old ways, the better we can navigate the coming days, the coming years, the coming months. And with Virgo is all about daily routines, rituals, taking care of our physical body. So finding new ways that we can do this, and taking care of our physical body and our immediate environment the best way we can, so that we can find the center in this period when it's hard to find it. Then we can create from that place. We can go forward from that place. And then on August 25th, Venus moves into Leo, and then it creates harmonious aspects with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and it's creating a sextile with Uranus, and then it's creating also an opposition to Pluto. So my camera cut me off, so I'll go back to Venus entering Leo. So we had this theme of Leo versus Aquarius, so my individual truth versus the collective truth. And we had this at the beginning of year with Mars being retrograde in Leo. We had this now with Mercury being there, and then Venus is coming there again, exploring this theme. So it's about, with Venus, it's about our values and our art and our creativity and the relationships we want to create. So it's really about what are my values that I stand for and that I wish to express in the most beautiful way, and that I know this will contribute to the society, even if right now there are parts of society that cannot reflect this, but I'm here to bring this forth. So what are my values? What are the values that I bring And so this is what Venus represents. And so we will see again this because Venus will be aspecting Pluto, creating this opposition. So there will be a bit of tension. There will be some a sense that we are overpowered, or that our power is being taken away from us, or also because Venus represents this feminine energy, so there can be like a lot of empowerment of like, actually I want to express this feminine truth, the feminine energy, and I can find new ways that my power is no longer a part of a power struggle, but it's a new kind of power, and it kind of overcomes the old paradigm of power struggles. So, and also because Venus is supported then with Saturn and Neptune and Uranus, so there can be a lot of this just momentum with Venus, or actually us expressing what we really stand for and what we want to create in a way that is beautiful and that it contributes in the best possible way. So August, all in all, is challenging, and it's also very intense, and there's a lot going on, but we can have a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding of what it is that we want to bring, what it is we want to release, what it is that we want to, how we want to clear our mental space, and where do we want to put our attention. Because September is going to be a very different kind of month. We have eclipses coming in September. We have Saturn going back to Pisces to wrap up some things. So August is a really nice month to kind of get more clarity on what it is we want to create and where we want to go and what it is that we need to break free from. So we need to become more aware of the things that we need to break free from. So August might bring more of those things to our awareness. So I hope this helps you and guides you through this process. And thank you so much for listening. And I'll see you soon in a month to talk about September.